welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers, so please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. If you want to give me a follow on Instagram, guys, that Instagram link is down in the description box of this video. Go click on that Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor Instagram link. Give me a follow on Instagram and then send me a DM to say hello and let me know that you're rocking with me. I really would appreciate that. We're trying to get this Instagram page up and running again since we got the old one shut down. The old one had 90,000 followers. Right now, we got a couple thousand followers on the new page. So I want to say thank you to all of you wonderful folks that decided to follow me on Instagram. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff on the Instagram page. So just be patient with me, and more content coming from me about my lifestyle and things like that as I get this Instagram page back up and running. So thank you again, guys, for stopping in today. Man, what a crazy day yesterday in the stock market, but made a lot of money. I mean, made a lot of money, and hopefully you guys have been paying attention and are taking this opportunity to level up your net worth. This is an amazing opportunity, guys, to level up your net worth. I was looking at Nvidia, and on Sunday, when I originally told you guys I was going to be buying Nvidia, it closed last Friday at 762. I looked at it today and it's 824. So instantaneously, you got a $60 per share bump. It's just easy money. And do I believe it'll continue going up? I do. Now, I'm not saying it'll go to $1,000 a share tomorrow, but 60 bucks in one business day? This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Just think about that type of increase in your net worth had you put Nvidia in the shopping cart on Monday morning. Had you put Nvidia in the shopping cart, your financial shopping cart, on Monday morning, on Tuesday morning, you up by $60 a share. Just like that, right? Now, for a lot of people, they would have been like, that's good. I'm out of here. I'm selling. Not me. Nah. I'm going to keep buying, right? I'm going to keep buying through dollar cost averaging on a monthly basis, and I'm going to keep buying the dip every time I get an opportunity to buy the dip. I still think it's in a dip. Why do I think it's in a dip? Because it traded at 975 less than a month ago. So I still think it's the dip. At 824, it's still the dip. You're still talking about $125 per share from the 975 to the 824 this morning, when the last time I looked at it. I mean, how you gonna beat that, man? I mean, how do you beat that? So that's the thing that I try to get folks to understand is when you got an opportunity to buy a great company like Nvidia with a discount, I'm not sure how you don't put it on the short list. For me, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. I keep buying it. I'm gonna continue to buy it because I think by year end, barring something crazy happen, I think by year end it's $1,000 a share stock. That's what I think. I think if it comes out in May, when May rolls around, which is in a few weeks. Now, I'm not sure what day in May they will do their fiscal year first quarter earnings report. But boy, if they beat expectations in May, you could be looking at $1,000 per share. That's my opinion. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you that's going to happen. I'm just telling you what my guess is, what my opinion is. I think if they meet expectations on their first quarter earnings, I think they go to. I think they got an opportunity to be $1,000 a share in March. Matter of fact, it was March 25th. They got to 975. This was March 25th of this year, less than a month ago. They hit like 974 and then closed at 950. Just saying, guys, I think if they come out with in May, when they roll out their Q1 earnings, fiscal year Q1 earnings, and if they're good, they got an opportunity, man, to get themselves over $1,000 a share, man. And of course, like I told y'all on yesterday and on Sunday, they closed at 762 on Friday last week. What was that? The 19th, April 19th. They closed at 762. So had you been in position, today rolls around. Now, I don't know what will happen today. I'm just telling y'all, when I looked at it this morning before I started the live stream, they were at 824. So that's a $60 per share in one business day. I don't know. Maybe that's making sense to some of y'all. Maybe it's not making sense, but I put it in the shopping cart. I'm going to keep putting it in the shopping cart, keep executing on it. Here's the deal, guys. If you want 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven stocks for free, 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven stocks for free, which include Nvidia, Mumu is going to give you 10 free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven, including Nvidia. All you got to do is click on that link down in the description box. It's the first link in the description box of the video here. Click on that link. Open up your Mumu account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. They're giving you those 10 free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven as a thank you for trying out their brokerage app. Now, to qualify, you got to put $100 in your brokerage account. That's how you qualify. You qualify for the 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven when you put $100 in your brokerage account. Then you can take that $100 and continue buying fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven. You can buy fractional shares of your favorite ETFs. That's up to you, right? The key here is put yourself in the game, take yourself off the sideline, right? And start the process of building wealth. And how do you build wealth? Exactly what I just told you. You got to buy assets that increase in value over time, and they grow to a large enough asset value that they generate income for you. And that income is what takes care of you. That's the only way you save yourself, right? So if you want that offer from Mumu, go down to the description box, click on the Mumu link, get yourself 10 free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven when you put $100 in your brokerage account, and now you're ready to build some wealth, and you got 10 fractional shares of the 7 best companies in the United States, 7 of the top 15 companies in the world in your portfolio. How in the world do you beat that? You can't beat it. You can't beat it. There's no other offer out here in the brokerage app planet that can touch that offer. None. So don't delay, get started today. Also, while you're down in the description box, check out the website, the new Richard Fame Millionaire Mentor website. It's alive and running. And I'm telling you guys, thank you so much for yours. Just checking out the website, right? We got a lot of people buying digital products, invested in themselves to build wealth. And we got a ton of you guys signing up for the membership club, which it's going to be incredible, right? I'm active in the membership club every day. I'm sending things out to the members every morning just to remind them that they're great, just to remind them that they got greatness inside of them, just to give them that positive message before they go out and start their day. I'm sending that out every morning to all of my club members. Anybody that's in the club, They already know that. They get that every morning. I'm sending them a positive message. That's important, guys. I'm telling you, you don't know how important that is. I get responses from my club members every morning with a thank you. You just don't know how incredibly that is important to be able to get a positive affirmation every morning. We don't know what everybody faces in the morning when they get up. But isn't it incredible if you can wake up and read something positive that sets the tone for your day? I'm doing that every day in the club, right? For the club members. On top of that, they're going to get exclusive access to me for 90 minutes every week. They're going to have exclusive access to me through the membership club, where they can ask me and we can cover any financial topic that they want to cover. We're going to cover it, right? I'm going to make sure those club members have access to me. And I'm going to make it my personal mission to make sure every single one of them get to their financial freedom. Everything I can do to assist them, I'm going to do it. Why? They're in the club, right? They're a paid member in my club. So my responsibility is to them, right? My responsibility is to make sure they have everything they need financially to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Now, they got to do the work, but I'm certainly going to be in their gang of five. I'm certainly going to be rooting for them. And if they email me, I'm on it. Anything I can do to help. That's for my club members, right? So if you don't mind, get over to the website, second link down in the description box, click on the website link, Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor website. Go check out the digital products. We got a bunch of them and you guys are buying them like crazy. And again, it ain't an investment in me, guys. It's a very small amount of money, number one. I mean, we and I know that's relative. A small amount of money to me may be a large amount of money to you. I get it. But when we're looking at the bigger picture here, when I'm trying to build wealth, right? The information that I can get to assist me in building wealth. Come on, you got to be able to understand there are things that you spend money on and there are things that you don't. There are things you can spend money on that can get you to wealth. There are a lot of things we're spending money on that ain't gonna put no wealth in our pocket. Matter of fact, it's gonna take money out of our pocket. So all I'm telling you is make a decision what you want to do. If you want to chase financial freedom and catch it, you better do something. The website can assist you to do that, right? So check it out, check out the digital products, and then consider joining the membership club. A lot of good things going to be starting to happen. They're already happening. I'm already active. Everybody that emails me in the membership club, everybody that I respond to everybody. Like I said, that's my baby. That's going to be my family. And y'all are my family too on the YouTube channel. Don't get me wrong, but you understand how YouTube works, and YouTube is a huge platform that people from everywhere. So I can't. The things that I do on YouTube, I do them for a reason because of the audience that I have here. The club, the membership club, is just going to be a few select people that want to invest in themselves and spend more time with me from a financial perspective. That's like family, right? That's like family at Thanksgiving. That's how entrenched I want to be with these folks, and I want to be a part of their financial freedom journey, personally be a part of it. These are people that when I go to a city, I'm going to be in the membership club saying, hey, I'm going to be in this city. Any of you folks in the membership club from these cities, let's go have lunch. Let's have a cup of coffee. So if I go to Washington, D.C. and I'm going to put an email out in the club. Hey guys, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. for 2 days. I got time to have a lunch and a dinner. Who in? I'm going to do that all across the country when I start traveling this summer. So the people in the club, they'll be able to sit down and break bread with me one-on-one. I'm not going to be charging, I'm going to do a meeting in ABC and no. If you're in the club, if you're a club member, boom. Wherever I'm at in the country, my people in the club will know, because they're going to only be the ones that know, because Nobody that's not in the club ain't gonna get the email. I'm not gonna put it on YouTube. It's gonna be on email. It's gonna be through the club's email. They're gonna be, and if they wanna have coffee with me, boom, they can. That's how entrenched I'm gonna get when it comes to my club members. So I want you guys to know that already rocking with me in the club, that's what's gonna be happening. I haven't even told y'all that, but that's gonna be happening. If you guys are in Southwest Florida and you're in the club, and you're in Southwest Florida, where I live, and you're in the club, paid member of the Richard Fain Millionaire Membership Club, and you're in Southwest Florida, you need to let me know. If you're in Southwest Florida, let me know. We're gonna have coffee, we're gonna have lunch, we're gonna have dinner, whatever. That's how in tune I'm gonna be to my club folks. So whether you wanna join or not, that's on you. The people that are already joining, it's a bunch of them. That's what they're gonna get. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get another level of me though. Like I said, we're gonna be like family. So check out the website, consider being a paid member at the membership club. And we're gonna kick off the live streams in May. And then as soon as I start traveling, which I believe it's gonna be this summer, I'm gonna be traveling a bunch this summer. Every city I go to, I'm gonna let the club members know, and if they wanna hang out, we're gonna do that. So thank you very much, club members, for investing in yourself and allowing me to be able to spend more time with you through those live streams and those one-on-one in-person meetings. They're gonna be great. Well, guys, here's the deal. We got a lot to cover today, so let's get on into it. And the number one thing we wanna cover is gonna be the US debt is starting to get out of hand. It really is, guys. See, we got this debt, but we also have payments on it. We got these debt payments. And that's where, you know, as a country, in my opinion, we got to be careful. Because if we don't, it's going to affect stocks. It's going to affect crypto. It's going to affect, matter of fact, it's going to affect all assets if we're not careful. If we don't reel this thing in and get this thing under control, it's going to continue to escalate. And at some point, you gotta pay the piper. You can't kick the can down the road for the next 100 years. Some point it catches up to you, right? So let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. And then we're gonna reel it back in and show you how it can affect our assets and why it's important that as a country, we get a handle on this thing. So here we go. Here's the headline. U.S. debt interest payments reach $1 trillion. Now, how in the world do you have $1 trillion worth of interest payments? Not the principal. I'm talking about $1 trillion in interest payments. Boy, I tell you what, I'm not sure how we managing this whole Houdini act, but let's read on. The cost of paying for America's national debt crossed $1 trillion mark in 2023. Wow. Driven by high interest rates and a record 34 trillion mountain of debt. So here's the thing. We have $34 trillion in debt. Now, some of y'all might say, well, golly, Richard, what debt? Well, you got to understand, guys, we've been in a deficit for a while. And I'm going to get to a chart down here to show you what I'm talking about, but for a while. So what happens is the federal government collects income from the American people through taxes. We collect taxes. Our government collects taxes from you and I. I just wrote a big check for my 2023 tax bill. Boop, send it to the IRS. Big check. Big check I had to write to them, right? And I've done that for the last 30 years. They take money. I pay my taxes. They collect that money. And then they use that money, that income, to pay for all the stuff they pay for our government, right? The roads, the bridges, the social programs, whatever, right? They pay for stuff with that tax revenue. The problem is the tax revenue is $4 trillion, but the budget calls for $7 trillion. We collect 4, but we spend 7. We got a $3 trillion shortfall. How do you cover that shortfall? You go out and borrow money from people. You borrow money from other countries. That's where the interest payments come from. That's where the $34 trillion in debt comes from. You collect 4 trillion, you spend 7 trillion. You got a $3 trillion shortfall. You got to cover that shortfall some way. You go out and borrow money. You borrow money from people like you and me, and you borrow money from other countries, like Japan, like China, like the UK, and other countries. You borrow money from. How do you borrow money? Through U.S. treasuries, right? Through the U.S. treasuries, whether it be bonds, whether it be notes, whether it be bills. That's how they borrow money. They raise money that way through debt, right? These payments on that debt have exceeded $1 trillion, just the interest payments. I'm telling you, if we don't get this thing under control, it's going to be a serious problem. Over the last decade, U.S. debt interest payments have more than doubled. You're talking about in 10 years. They've doubled in 10 years. You go from 500 billion to $1 trillion in 10 years. What do you think we're going to be in the next 10 years? Just saying, over the last decade, the U.S. debt interest payments have more than doubled amid vast government spending during the pandemic crisis. See, now we go back to the pandemic again. Remember all that cheap money they were pumping into the system? All that free money? You got to pay the piper. You got to pay the piper at some point. Piper looking to get paid. All that stimulus money, we got for free. All that PPP money we done forgave, right? All of that other cheap money they introduced when interest rates were 0, Fed funds rate was 0. So you got to pay the piper for all of that. That's what this is. You're paying the piper. It wasn't free. See, we thought it was free, but it ain't free, right? So over the last decade, we've doubled the interest payments, right, for this vast government spending during the pandemic crisis. As debt payments continue to soar, the Congressional Budget Office reported that debt servicing costs surpassed defense spending for the first time ever this year. Our debt payments, we spend more on our debt payments than we do on our defense. Guys, if you understand what I'm saying here, you spend more on your debt payments than you do on your defense spending, right? Y'all know the defense spending is important. Why? Because if we don't do that, somebody drop a bomb on us. You know people don't like us already around the world. You know you got countries out there that are trying to de-dollarize us. They're trying to de-dollarize the world of the U.S. They're trying to crash our U.S. dollar. You do know there are countries out there that are trying to do that right now actively. I'm talking about big boy countries. Big boy countries. I ain't talking about some little obscure third world country out here. I'm talking about big boy first world countries. You ever heard of the BRICS nations? You ever heard of them? BRICS nations? Brazil, Russia, India. Who's the other one? China, and it's one more. I think it's Saudi Arabia. I might be wrong. South Africa, not Saudi Arabia. I apologize, Saudi Arabia. It's South Africa. So those are the BRICS nations. Do you know they are trying to put us in a hole somewhere and bury us? You do know that, right? Just letting you know. Everybody out there in the world don't like us. They don't like us. Below, we show how U.S. debt payments have risen at a faster pace than at another time in modern history. So they got this chart here from 2014 to 2023. So in 2014 now, our debt payments were $442 billion. And the US debt, the total debt for the US in 2014 was 18 trillion. But our debt service was 442 billion. That was 2014. 10 years ago, guys. Fast forward to today, we got 34 trillion in debt. Almost doubled the debt. Almost have doubled our debt in 10 years. And we've more than doubled the interest payments. Interest payments are over 1 trillion, debt's over 34 trillion. Crazy, crazy, crazy. At current rates, here's the scary part. At current rates, the U.S. national debt is growing by a remarkable 1 trillion about every 100 days. At current rates, the U.S. national debt is growing by a remarkable 1 trillion about every 100 days, equal to roughly 3.6 trillion per year. That's what's going to be our debt service. 3.6 trillion. How in the world do you sustain that? You can't. At some point you can't. As the national debt, now the national debt is going to, it's growing by 1 trillion every 100 days. That's not the debt payments. So let me correct myself. That's not the debt payments. That's the actual overall debt is growing by $1 trillion every 100 days. So basically every year you're adding about 3.6 trillion to your overall debt, not your debt payment. So let me correct myself there. As the national debt has ballooned, debt payments even exceeded Medicaid outlays in 2023. So we are paying more to service the debt, the $34 trillion in debt. We're paying more to service that debt, the interest associated with that debt, than we do on Medicaid, than we do on defense spending. That's insanity. That's insane. As the national debt has ballooned, debt payments even exceeded Medicaid outlays in 2023, one of the government's largest expenditures. On average, the U.S. spent more than $2 billion per day on interest costs last year. Did you hear that figure? Let me run that by you one more time, good people. On average, the U.S. spent more than $2 billion per day on interest costs last year. See, these numbers I can't even wrap my little brain around. I mean, how do you spend $2 billion a day on interest on your loans, on your debt? 2 billion, guys. I'm talking about with a B. This is every day. Gee, now how do you sustain that? I mean, who can sustain that? And that's why I'm trying to tell you, your assets going further. The U.S. government is projected to spend a historic $12.4 trillion on interest payments over the next decade, averaging about $37,100 per American. Who y'all think pay for that? Who y'all think pay for all this? You think they got some magical place they can go and just pull it out? Ain't no magical place. The magical place is you and I, our taxes. That's the magical place. Just saying. At some point, taxes got to go up. For you folks out there that's already struggling to pay your taxes now, at some point, them taxes got to go up. It's the only way you're going to get out of this hole. Two ways. Either the government is going to have to massively, massively cut back on spending and social programs and infrastructure and all that kind of spending, military, something got to suffer while they cut back, or they got to increase taxes. Those are the only two choices. You either cut back on all this other spending you're doing, whether that be military, like they said, defense, social programs like Medicaid, other social programs. You cut back on infrastructure, so our roads just continue to be tore up. Can't put no money in new bridges. Can't put no money in making us a great, healthy, none of that. Some of that got to go. Or either you got to raise taxes. How else you going to do it? Where is the money going to come from? And then on top of that, guess what you got against you? You got the BRICS nation. You got the BRICS nation trying to de-dollarize the world, trying to cancel the dollar. I read a story this morning where these folks are not playing around. The BRICS nation has bought more gold. They bought more gold. I think they said since over the last couple of years, I believe that's what it was. They've bought more gold over the last couple of years than anybody. The BRICS nation. Why are they buying all that gold? Why are they buying all this gold? They're getting ready to try to take down the dollar, I'm telling you. Now, whether they be successful or not, I don't know. Above my pay grade. But I'm telling you what they're doing. I'm telling you the game plan. The game plan is to crush the dollar. And my goodness, guys, if they crush the dollar and we got all this debt, what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. All I'm telling you is, while we're out here electing these folks, we got this election cycle coming. Hey, man, you better be thinking about the right things. I'd be thinking about, hey, tell me about this $34 trillion in U.S. debt and this $1 trillion in debt payments. How do we get out of that? What's your game plan to solve that problem? Are we raising taxes? Are we cutting out programs? How are we going to solve that problem? Hey, how are we going to solve the problem with BRICS trying to take the U.S. dollar down? I'm telling you, that's what you need to be asking these folks. Right here, rah, 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 cheer, 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 but you ain't asking no real questions. I'm trying to tell you, man, you're going to get, if you ain't got no wealth, guess what's going to happen to you? That wealth gap, the rich, they're going to keep getting rich. The people who ain't rich going to keep getting poor. Just telling you, that's what's going to happen. The middle class going to be gone. Ain't going to be no middle class. It's going to be rich or poor. That's it. If we don't do something, is what I'm saying. And as the American people, we should do something. This is our country. As the American people, we built this country. We are the lifeline of this country. Not these politicians, us. We got to do something. We can't look for some guy we're going to sit in the White House to do something. They're not going to do nothing. I keep telling you all this. I don't care who y'all sit in that seat. They're not going to do anything. By the way, we don't put them in that seat anyways. That's just a little FYI. We're not going to get into that today, but we don't put nobody in that seat anyways. But I tell you what, as the American people, all 350 million of us, let me tell you guys, we can change this if we just put our mind to it. We have $34 trillion in debt. Our interest payments are $1 trillion. We're adding $1 trillion every 100 days to our national debt. They are saying over the next decade, we will spend $12.4 trillion just on the interest payments. I'm not talking about the principal, just the service, the debt, the interest associated with it, which equates to about $37,100 per American. How many of y'all can get $37,000 wiped off of your salary and still make it? How many? How many of y'all can take a $37,000 takeout from your salary and still make it and live and do all the things you need to do? Not many of us. Not many of us. So as the American people, we got to act. We got to do something. We got to do something. Exacerbating matters is that the U.S. is running a steep deficit, which stood at 1.1 trillion for the first 6 months of fiscal 2024. This has accelerated due to the 43% increase in debt servicing costs, along with a $31 billion increase in defense spending from a year earlier. Additionally, a $30 billion increase funding for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation in light of regional bank crises last year was a major contributor to the deficit increase. See, I told y'all when I talked about these banks, remember I talked about these banks and I told y'all that we paid for all these failed banks. I told y'all that. Nobody believed me. Oh, no, we don't. We got, the banks pay for all of that. They put the money in this fund and the banks pay for it. They might pay a little bit, but they're telling you right here who's paying for it too. We paying for it. Additionally, $30 billion increase in funding for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is FDIC. So when these banks fail, FDIC goes in and mops up everything and sells it off to another bank. But guess who pays for all of that? You and me. And we had a $31 billion increase in defense spending. That's 60 bill right there from last year. Guess what? We ain't got the money for it. So guess what it does? It keeps piling on to the debt. We only collect 4 trillion. We spend 7 trillion. Overall, the CBO forecasts that roughly 75% of the federal deficit increase will be due to interest cost by 2034. So over the next 10 years, 75% of the increase to the federal deficit will be because we can't pay all the interest. The interest is going to keep stacking up because we ain't got enough money to pay it. We ain't got enough money to pay it. Crazy, right? Crazy. I saw one article that said the deficit, I think they said by 2054. So basically 30 years from now, it's going to exceed about 140 trillion unless we do something. It's going to exceed like $140 trillion over the next 30 years. It's 34 trillion now, but they say it's going to be around 140 trillion. Now, how in the world can you imagine the debt payments on 140 trillion in debt? Can you imagine the debt payments? An annual debt payments. Whew. Like they said, 75% of the increase in the debt is going to be due to interest payments that we can't pay. How do we get out of this? As the American people, we got to get out of it. There is no politician that's going to get us out of this one, guys. I can tell you that right now. If it's up to the politicians, they'll run that thing up to 300 trillion. I'm telling you, they will run that thing up to 300 trillion. They don't care. So if we're going to get out of this mess, it's going to be up to the American people to get out of it. There is no politician that's going to get outside of it. It's not going to happen. I don't care who y'all put in. Well, again, we don't put anybody in the White House. I know we think we do, but we really don't. But all the rest of them guys and gals that we put in Congress, you better know who you're putting in those seats in Congress. You better know who you're putting in those seats. I find it really interesting that a lot of these people that have been up there on Capitol Hill, I'm talking about for 15, 20, 30 years, on Capitol Hill, in Congress, all of them got rich. They got insider trading information. They buy these stocks. before anybody else know anything going on with the stock. They buy it, get rich. They sit up there on Capitol Hill for 20 years. I just don't get it, man. We're trip, man. Some of the stuff we do, I don't get it, but I don't get it, man. But I will tell you this. As the American people, it's up to us. If we don't get this thing fixed, we got nobody to blame but us. Because all those people sitting up there on Capitol Hill in Congress, we put them in there. We put them in there. We'll allow them to stay in there for 15, 20 years. Just milking it. Ain't doing nothing, just getting a cushy check, everything paid for, getting rich off of insider trading, all kind of stuff. We just let them do it. Sit there, 15, not both sides of the aisle too. It ain't just Democrats, it's Republicans too. They all sitting in there, getting rich, insider trading, using the American people, right? But we don't have to stand for that. We can control that. That's on us. Now, if we sit around and let them do that, that's our fault. See, I don't blame these politicians. Y'all might be a little different than me. I don't blame them. Because that's just human nature, right? I don't blame them. They're going to get greedy. That's human nature. Who I blame is us. We put them in there. We let them stay in there for 15, 20 years doing nothing but getting a fat check and getting rich off insider trading. We let them stay in there for 15, 20 years. We do. We do. So if we want to blame somebody, we got to look at us. We ain't got to put most of these people in there. We can make the laws. We can force them to change the laws. No, you serve 2 years, you out. Bring somebody else in. 2 years, out. Bring somebody else in. Not just sitting up there for 20 years doing nothing but getting rich. I mean, come on, guys. We allow them to do that, though. We'll allow them to do it. We'll allow them to do it. Let's talk about the housing market real quick. I thought this was interesting. I was checking out this article. I thought it was interesting. Here's the headline. The outlook for home prices has changed drastically in just the past month as Fed rate cuts look more and more distant. Remember, we talked about that probably, I believe we might have talked about that yesterday or last Friday, where we had these 3 rate cuts in mind early in the year, mid-year. They don't push them things back to December. So we may or may not have the rate cuts. We may or may not have the rate cuts. That's crazy, right? We may or may not have these rate cuts. So, yeah, we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. We definitely got to figure it out. The outlook. So here we go. Forecasts for U.S. home prices suddenly look a lot different compared to just a month ago, according to Freddie Mac's latest outlook, right? Price will increase only 0.5% in 2024 and 25, the mortgage giant said Thursday. That's down sharply from its forecast in March, when it predicted home prices would rise 2.5% in 2024 and 2.1% in 2025. The view for 24 has suffered, especially compared to the start of the year, when prices were seen rising 2.8. So not as much, but you're still going to get them. They're not going down, is my point. They're not going down. So a lot of us out here are waiting for home prices to go down. They're not. To be sure, less aggressive trajectory for home price gains sounds like good news for prospective buyers. But when combined with still limited inventory and higher for longer rates, the overall picture isn't a major improvement. Why? Doesn't matter what home prices do if you can't afford the monthly payment. Interest rates are still 7.5%. Can't afford the monthly payment. There are plenty of people buying houses that were overpriced, guys, after the pandemic. Plenty of them. Why? Because they get a low interest rate and they can afford the monthly payment. but they can't afford the monthly payment right now. Interest rates are too high, right? Plus, the thing that's going to continue to hold these prices where they are and slightly higher is lack of or limited inventory. But no one's going to build anything on a massive scale when you don't have demand. You have no demand. Why would I go out here and build 5,000 homes and I ain't got nobody to sell them to? Basically, while housing demand is solid due to a large share of millennial first-time home buyers looking to buy homes, they are challenged by high mortgage rates and a lack of homes available for sale. This is what Freddie Mac said in its April statement. We expect these challenges to persist in 24, mainly in the absence of significant rate cuts, which will keep the rate lock effect in place and keep total home sales volume below 5 million in 2024. What do they mean by the rate lock effect? They mean somebody that has a loan on their current home for 3.5%, they are not willing to give up that rate for a 7.5% rate. So guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna stay put. They're not gonna put their house up for sale to move somewhere else. They're gonna stay right where they're at because they do not wanna double their interest rate on the new house. Plus, they're gonna pay more for the new house. They're gonna pay more for it and have a higher rate. Why would I sell my house right now? Why would I give up my house right now to go in something crazy? They're not going to do it. That's what they mean by the rate lock effect. And keep home, and guess what? That keeps home sales transactions lower. Why? You ain't got enough. Not a lot of people are selling houses. Now, like they said, you still got some people, millennials, some baby boomers, people that got wealth. Some of them are buying houses now, but not at the level that we used to. We're not at that level. Not at that level. With the economic landscape holding steady, the main difference over the past month is in the rates outlook and when the Federal Reserve may start easing, which right now we know they're not going to ease anytime soon. Let's be honest here. They're not. They're not going to ease. Remember, they're going to meet April 30th and May 1st, next week. The Fed meet next week. I believe it's next Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see, but they're not. They're not going to reduce no rates. On Tuesday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell confirmed Wall Street's fears by saying that due to the robust labor market and remaining progress required on inflation, rates will stay where they are for as long as needed. This is the Fed chair. This is what he said. Treasury yields climbed even higher, with the 10-year rate topping 4.6, sending other borrowing costs up too. See, the 10-year Treasury, guys, affects the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. When it goes up, guess what happens to the 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate? It goes up. Yes, sir. That's what happens. Here we go. Treasury yields climbed even higher, with the 10-year rate topping 4.6, sending other borrowing costs up too. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage surged past 7%. So as that 10-year Treasury bond goes up, your 30-year fixed rate mortgage rates go up with it. What brings down the 10-year Treasury? When you drop interest rates, when you drop the Fed funds rate. When you drop the Fed funds rate, the 10-year Treasury bond rate drops. When the 10-year Treasury bond rate drops, your 30-year fixed rate drops. There you go. There you go. For the first time this year, according to Freddie Mac's reading on Thursday, those developments over the past month appeared to be the major catalyst for Freddie Mac's big downgrade in its housing market outlook. You're talking about one of the biggest mortgage holders in the country. You got Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, they say they're not government bodies, but they are influenced by the government. They're supposed to be standalone bodies, but I don't believe that crap. I don't believe it. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two largest mortgage holders, or whatever you want to call them, in the world, in the country, right? One of them is saying, we're downgrading the housing market outlook. Downgrade means not good, guys. That means not good, right? In March, it predicted Fed rate cuts could begin as soon as the summer, with mortgage rates staying above 6.5 through the second quarter, then drifting lower in the latter half of the year, while inventory would still be tight. More first-time home buyers continue to flood the housing market and push home prices up. So y'all sitting around here waiting on the crash? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what happens with the debt. Now, the debt might crash everything, right? But right now, no crash, low inventory, no crash yet. Now, for the people that are living in and having to take care of themselves through the housing market, they're feeling pain. They're feeling financial pain because why? They take care of themselves through transactions. There are not many transactions. They're predicting lower transaction volume this year, under 5 million transactions. That's what they're predicting. Under 5 million transactions. So, not good. Not good. Instead, Freddie Mac said the Fed is now in a wait-and-see mode before it starts easing, and refrained from offering more specific guidance on rates. We therefore expect mortgage rates to remain elevated for longer. 7.5% or higher for longer. The new forecast comes as high home prices and mortgage rates have kept many Americans away from ownership. The cost of owning a home is officially the highest on record ever. Highest on record ever, guys. That's nuts. Oh, what do you mean? We got this great economy. We got this great job market. Everything's booming. What do you mean? Yeah, but you can't afford to buy a house. So I'm not sure how it's booming. I'm not sure how your economy is booming when you can't buy a house. Can't afford to buy a house. How is that booming? It's not booming. It's booming for the 1%. But these folks down here in this 99% economy, this bust economy, this cesspool economy, as former President Trump calls it, this cesspool economy, can't even buy a house. That's why I'm telling you guys, it's so important for you to build wealth. That's why it's so important for you to buy assets right now. Forget the house. I would be pouring every dime I own into assets that actually generate income. I wouldn't worry about buying assets that don't generate no income. Now, if you want to go out there and buy your rental property that's going to generate some income and pay for itself, that's different. But you're trying to get some house that you're going to live in that ain't going to do no but suck money out of your pocket. And you're going to have a 7.5% interest rate. And you're going to pay a premium for it. If that's what you want to spend your money on, I gotta ask you to reconsider. Put your money in things that are going to multiply it and put money in your pocket. Forget this home ownership stuff. Ain't no money attached to it. Ain't no income attached to it. Forget it. Don't put your money in nothing that don't have income attached to it. It's the only way you survive any of this stuff. Redfin CEO said would-be buyers who held out last year are tired of waiting. Oh, I'm gonna wait. Should I buy now? I'm gonna wait. I wouldn't buy at all. If it was me and I'm in the building stage of wealth, I wouldn't buy nothing. I'd put my money in assets that are gonna actually make some money. I wouldn't put nothing in no real estate right now that's just gonna be a dead asset that I just gonna live in, that I'm just gonna live in. I'm doing nothing else with it but live in it. And I'm going to take 50% of my income, 40% of my income, and I'm going to dedicate it to something that I'm just going to live in that's not going to produce any income. I don't know how smart that is. I don't know how smart that is. You do see what's happening right now, guys. We got some of the best assets in the world on sale. We could be buying those things. I just told you, gave you Nvidia. Closed on Friday at 762. Looked at it today, it was 824. Now, it might have changed since I've been on the live stream, but that's $60 a share, instant. $60 a share. That's net worth. That's $60 a share increase in my net worth in one business day. I keep telling y'all guys, we gotta get in that way of thinking. Before you know it, I'm gonna have $100 per share in Nvidia in net worth. Why? Execute it. Pull the trigger. Execution, pull the trigger. Before you know it, I'm gonna have $100 per share in net worth gain for doing one thing, pulling the trigger and being patient. And I'm gonna do it probably, listen, it may get there this week. It may get up to 860 this week before Friday. Nvidia could go from 762 to 862 in 1 week. And guess what? I got $100 net worth gain. $100 per share net worth gain. Where you gonna get that at? Tell me where you gonna get that at. You gonna get it in a piece of real estate you're getting ready to buy? Nope. Matter of fact, that's gonna take money out of your pocket. Down payment, closing costs. Ooh, I ain't even throw it in flood insurance if you're in a flood zone or homeowners insurance. Ooh, I haven't even talked about property taxes. Y'all do know what's going on with property taxes. In a lot of parts of the country, they've doubled. In a lot of parts of the country, your homeowners insurance doubled, especially if you're down here in Florida in Hurricane Alley. If you're down here in Florida, anywhere in this Hurricane Alley, you already know what's happening with flood insurance. Here where I live at, in Southwest Florida, flood insurance premiums went up by 25%. Boom. Boom. From 2000, let me see here. From 2000, what was it? Prior to the pandemic. I think it was 2020. On one of my properties, the homeowner's insurance was, I want to say $1,400, $1,500, something like that. Guess what it is today? I'm talking about 4 years, guys. Guess what it is today? $4,200. Yeah. So all I'm telling you is, listen, you better figure out how to put your money in assets that actually build wealth. Now, I'm not telling you if you want to go buy a house and you held on, bent on doing it, go do it. But you're going to be house rich, assets, cash, poor. Because I'm telling you, that house is going to take 40 to 50% of your income right off the bat. That's what it's going to be required. The average house in America is $420,000, $460,000. That's the average house. That ain't Mac Daddy house. That's the average house. So listen, man, housing market is there's an opportunity there. I think there's an opportunity there. If I'm trying to buy real estate for income, then I think there's an opportunity. Because you got sellers out there that have fatigue. They're ready to sell these properties. They're tired of holding them. They're ready to sell them. So if you got cash, if you are a high income individual that can afford the 7.5% interest rate, you could potentially go get you a good deal on a piece of real estate right now. Because I'm telling you, sellers are ready to negotiate because they're tired of holding these houses. There ain't many people out there buying. There ain't much demand. But if you're just trying to buy this thing and move into it and put it on Instagram, man, you better think about it. You better think about it. Would-be buyers who held out last year are tired of waiting, as millennials who delayed starting a family can only wait so long. He said he's never seen anything like it, calling it the worst situation for the housing market. Housing is in a recession, and the rest of the economy is booming. I can't disagree with that. 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 You've heard what Freddie Mac, one of the largest mortgage holders or whatever you want to call them, right? Y'all can go research them on the $1 trillion research lab. They've given you their outlook. They've downgraded it. You got the guy from Redfin, the CEO from Redfin, calling it real estate, the housing market's in a recession. Why? Because their stock price went from a nice stock price to like $5 a share. Why? Because ain't no activity, man. It ain't no demand. You got a few people out there buying houses, like millennials and baby boomers and a few, one percenters. But the average everyday Joe can't afford it, man. Not at no 7.5% interest rate. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. Cannot afford it. Plus, guess what's happening? A lot of these banks and a lot of these lenders are doing what? They're tightening up on their lending guidelines. Because see, they learned a lesson in 2008. You be lackadaisical and loosey-goosey with your lending guidelines if you want to and go to giving all these loans to all these people who can't afford it. Soon as something happens in their financial life, they're going to stop paying you. I can promise you that. They're going to stop paying you. Lenders know that. So why put myself in harm's way? They're not. That's why now you're seeing lenders are tightening up. Oh, no. We can't give you a DTI of 36% anymore. Nope, can't do it. We got to take that down to 30%. No more 36% DTI. No more 40% DTI. We got to take that down to 30. They're tightening it up. Tightening it up. No. We need you to put more down payment just in case you decide to walk away from this thing. And I'm talking about non-FHA loans, right? I'm talking about conventional loans, just your straight up loan, right? Where you put money in, they give you a loan. They're asking you to put more money in. They don't want to be left holding the bag when you decide you don't want to pay them no more. We already know 1 million mortgages are 90 days past due right now. 1 million mortgages. Just saying, guys. So be careful what you're pursuing when it comes to assets. My recommendation is, if it ain't gonna put no money in my pocket right now, I'm not buying it. I only want assets that generate income and put money in my pocket. Just saying. If you're interested in those 10 free fractional shares from Mumu of the Magnificent Seven, they're gonna give you 10 free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven when you open a new Mumu account. You put $100 in your Mumu account. They don't take your $100, guys. That's $100 that you can then use and invest in more assets. They require you put the $100 in there so that you're serious about using the brokerage app. They don't want you to put your little $100 in there and get your Magnificent Seven stocks and then cash them in and close out the account on them. Who would want that to happen? They're not dumb. So they're gonna make you put money in there and really use the account, or they don't want you over there. So go down to that description box. If you want 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven for free, open up the Mumu account. Click on the link down in the description box, open up the Mumu account, and get your 10 fractional shares of the most valuable companies in America, which is the Magnificent Seven. I just told y'all Nvidia made $60 a share in one business day. Just saying. I don't know. Let me see what it's trading at right now, because I know somebody, oh no, it's not trading at 824. It's at 810. Let's see what it's trading at right now. Still trading at 824. So right now, technically, I could sell the position and make $60 a share one business day. Where's she going to get that from? Where's she going to get that from? Where else? That's what I'm saying. Let me take it one step further. Let me show you something. One step further. Let me just do this little exercise right here. What was that? Okay, divided by 762. So that would have been like 131 shares, right? Let's say I put 100 grand in. That would have been 31 shares. I ain't gonna tell you exactly what I put in, but let me just say I put that in. Let's just hypothetically, I put in 100 grand, right? Say I put 100 grand and I bought it at 762 a share. That's 131 shares, right? Today, it's at 824 a share times 131. So I just made 8 grand. Just made 8 grand. I just made an ROI of 8% in one business day. Let's say it goes up $100 a share by the end of the week. I'm not saying it will, but let's hypothetical. Let's say hypothetical. Of course, I got 131 shares, right? Let's say it goes up, let's see, 131 times 862. So now I just made, in 1 week, 13 grand. Just saying. 13 grand in 1 week. Oh, let's say it goes up $200 a share. All right? Let's just say it go from 762 to 962 on that 131 shares. Now I just made 26 grand. Just a quick 20. So all I'm telling you guys is, listen, figure out something. Figure out a game plan that works for you. I'm not saying what I did will work for you. Figure out your game plan, right? Figure out your game plan that works for you. But do something. Do something, man. Do something. There is so much opportunity to build wealth right now. Despite the debt payments for the U.S. debt, despite the housing market, there is still opportunity out there to build wealth if you're not afraid and if you're willing to get information and take action, right? If you're willing to do that. Now, one more thing, I just want you guys to understand kind of what's brewing out here. So that way you know what? How to prepare. You need to know what is going on, guys, when it comes to the United States and its debt. You need to know that. You also need to know what's going on in the housing market. You also need to know what's going on in the labor market. So let's talk about that real quick. Here's the headline. Layoffs could spike as one labor market indicator says a recession is already here. Now, again, guys, you can look at this two ways. You can say, well, golly, this guy, Richard Fain, all he talks about is gloom and doom and blah, 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 blah. No, that's one way you can look at it. Or you can look at it as, okay, I see what's kind of lining up. I see what could potentially happen. What should I do? I should always prepare for the worst, but expect the best. How do I prepare for the worst? I put myself in a financial situation where no matter what, I win. That's what you should be looking at it. I say look at it that way. I put myself in a financial situation when I go to bed at night, I don't worry about the labor market. When I go to bed at night, I don't worry about the housing market. When I go to bed at night, I don't worry about the U.S. debt. I don't, because I put myself in a situation where I have assets, I have cash, I got no consumer debt. So I can weather any storm. If the market crashes, guess what I do? I go right back to 2008, gobble up as much as I can, and I hold them for 10 years. That's all. That's it. See, that's why you got to be lean and you got to be mean when it comes to your financial situation. That's why I encourage you guys to get yourself out of consumer debt. That's why I encourage yourself, don't saddle yourself with a house that's taking 50% of your salary. When you factor in taxes, insurance, interest and principal, repairs. That's why I'm telling you, don't take all your money and put it in that. Get lean and get mean and go make some money. Build your assets up so that you can weather any storm. That's all I'm saying. So look at it as gloom and doom, or look at it as, you know something? Hey, let me prepare for the worst. I'm going to prepare for the worst, but I'm going to expect the best. See, when I go to bed at night, I don't worry about gloom and doom. When I get off this call, I'm going to go about my day, not with a worry in the world. I'm going to go check on my other house. I'm going to do some other things. I ain't going to worry about none of this. Why? Because I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I'm always prepared. I got cash. I got assets. I got a high income skill set. Between those three things right there, guys, what do I got to worry about financially? I got no consumer debt. All I'm trying to get you to do is put yourself in that position. Get out of this high interest rate credit card debt. Stop over leveraging yourself on these houses and these cars. Just over leveraging ourselves to keep up with the Joneses. So people think we're successful. We got to get out of those bad behaviors. You guys see me every single day. Am I concerned about what somebody think or the way I look? Or have I changed anything? Anybody that's been rocking with me since 2020, What have I changed about what I've done? What have I changed about my appearance? What have I changed about anything? I haven't. I've said the same thing for 4 straight years. This is the 5th year. I've been saying the same thing. And I haven't changed a bit. I still wear raggedy t-shirts. I don't care. Because see, that don't matter to me. What matters to me is I got cash, I got no consumer debt, and I got assets that generate income. That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing else when it comes to this financial stuff that happens around me. I just don't pay attention to it. All I'm trying to get you to do is focus yourself. Focus. Focus on building wealth. Focus on protecting you and your family through wealth. That's what you got to do, guys. That's what you got to do. Let's talk about these layoffs. Not that anything's finna happen. We know we got a booming labor market. We know that. But again, always prepare for the worst, but expect the best. When do you prepare for bad times, guys? Please, somebody tell me in the chat. When do I prepare for bad times? When do I prepare for bad times? Please, somebody tell me. When do I prepare for bad times? In good times. That's when you prepare. I don't prepare for bad times when bad times get here. It's too late, right? It's too late. I prepare for bad times when we're in good times. When we're in bad times, I prepare for good times. That's how it works. That's what you got to think about. Even though the labor market right now is red hot and good, when do I prepare for it to go south? Right now. That's when I prepare for it. So that's what this is. This is not saying the labor market is going to crash tomorrow. What it's saying is, while it's good, you better be putting some metrics in place so that if it goes bad, you're protected and your family's protected financially. That's why I'm reading this to you. Let's go. The U.S. could see a rise in layoffs. And there's one indicator in the labor market that suggests a recession is already here. That's someone's opinion, guys. But we prepare for bad times in good times, right? So that's all this is. Preparation mentally, get ourselves prepared just in case they flip the script on us, we're ready. I hate for them to flip the script on us and we ain't ready and we suffer, right? Quail Intelligence Research Chief Strategist pointed to worrying signs in the labor market. Despite the headline, job growth remaining strong, the economy added 303,000 workers in March, but the jobless rate has steadily ticked higher, raising from a low of 3.4% in April 2023 to around 3.8% last month. What's the jobless rate? Anybody can tell me in the chat what the jobless rate is. What are they talking about there when they say the jobless rate? Just see if you guys are paying attention. What does the jobless rate mean? What are they talking about? What is that widely called? Unemployment. Unemployment. That's another word for unemployment rate, guys. The unemployment rate went from 3.4% in April to around 3.8% last month, in April of 23. So it went from April of 23, 3.4. Last month, it was 3.8. As of February, the labor market has been pointing to a historical recession indicator that flashes when the unemployment rate rises 0.3% above its cycle low and holds above that level for at least 3 months. That was the case for the 2008 recession. Booth noted, with the National Bureau of Economic Research dating the recession back to the month the indicator was first triggered. So we're in a recession as far as the unemployment rate is concerned, Booth said, speaking in an interview with the David Lynn Report last week. Job cuts have climbed this year. Total layoffs and discharges rose nearly 10% year over year in February. According to the Federal Reserve data, and worker firings could accelerate in the coming months. Booth predicted, given that layoffs typically surge as firms report earnings. She estimated that layoffs for the year could rise to 370,000 by the end of April. That would be the highest number of layoffs recorded over the first 4 months of the year since 2009. In the wake of the great financial crisis, she said, Booth has been warning for months of a coming wave of job losses. Top economist David Rosenberg has also predicted that the unemployment rate could rise to around 5% by the end of the year as a recession hits the economy. Now, guys, again, don't know if any of that's going to happen, but I'm just telling you what's out there. I'm just telling you what other people are predicting. All we look at, most of us, all we look at is just what's been added to the economy. But we don't look at all this other data. From April 2023, unemployment has went from 3.4% to 3.8%. There's a reason for that. This person is saying by the end of April, there will be, what did she say? 370,000? Let's see, let me make sure I got that right. What did she say? She estimated that layoffs for the year could reach 370,000 by the end of April, which is one of the highest rates ever. Again, prepare for the worst, expect the best. Who knows what's going to happen? But I would definitely rather be prepared than not prepared. Now, Richard, how do I prepare? How do you prepare for that? Get you some additional streams of income in place. That's how you prepare for it. Get your emergency fund in place. That's how you prepare for it. Get yourself out of high interest rate credit card debt. That's how you prepare for it. Get yourself in a wealth transfer blueprint where you're buying assets on a monthly basis. That's how you prepare for it. None of this is any secret to the guys that have been rocking with me. Y'all know I tell you this every day, 365 days a year. I tell you this. That's how you prepare for all this stuff. I don't care what bad could happen. I don't care about the gloom and doom because I'm prepared. See, I don't have to waste no space in the filter system on gloom and doom because I'm prepared. Now, if gloom and doom comes, guess what I do? I buy more assets and I just hold them. Gloom and doom won't last forever. 2008 didn't last forever, did it? People thought it would. People thought that would destroy the United States, would never be the same again. Guess what? We recovered. We recovered. When do you get rich? Somebody tell me, when do you really, if you're smart and you know what you're doing and you don't mind taking a little bit of risk, when can you really, really get rich? You really can get rich in a recession, guys. That's where you get rich. If you really want to hit this thing and knock it out of the park fast, a recession is where you do it. I don't know why we don't understand that. We hear that word and we freak out. No, I hear that word and I'll be like, okay, I don't want it to happen, but if it does, might as well get rich. And how do you get rich? Woo, all these, you think these assets are discounted now. Woo, woo, you think they discounted. We hit a recession around here, they really gonna be discounted. Think about 2008. Think about 2008. You know how many people became millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires because of 2008? Plenty. Plenty, guys. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Why? Because I just knew the fundamental thing you got to know about most assets, most good assets, they go back up in value. When demand goes back up, they go back up in value. That's why I keep telling you with stocks and with ETFs, even with real estate right now, even though with rates sky high, if you buy a piece of real estate and you got the right rental income on it, it'll pay for the 7.5% rate. And then guess what? In a couple years, when the rates come down, refinance it. If you buy it right, in the right location, the rental income will pay for it. Even at the 7.5, the rental income will pay for it. Because you got to understand what's on your side with rental income. Most people cannot buy a house right now. They are forced to rent. And if I got the money and I want that white picket fence, American dream house in a great neighborhood, I'd rather rent it until I can buy it. And I'm willing to pay a fair market value rent to have that lifestyle. So don't run away from the real estate market if you're an investor and you can afford the 7.5. And how do you afford it? Get in you a good market that got a rental rate that can pay for it. Buy you a house in a rental rate area that can pay for it. That's all you got to do. Don't run away from it. But if you're one of these people that, I got to just buy this house. It's the perfect house for me. Okay, I'm willing to give up 50% of my salary to do it. And I'm just going to eat poke and beans and weenies every day. But I got this great house. Why? Why? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I wouldn't. I'd rather take all that money, all that 50% I'm gonna put in that house. I take 20% of it and put it in rent, take that other 30%, put it in assets, and just do that for 10 years. Then go get me a house. What do I need to be sitting around here putting 50% of my money in an asset that ain't gonna produce no income? I wouldn't. There you go. Let's talk a little bit about the stock market, and then we're going to get out of here. We pretty much covered everything we wanted to cover, but let's get, again, guys, if you want those the 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven, you got to go down to the Mumu link and hit the Mumu link, sign up, put your $100 in your new brokerage account. They're going to give you 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven. Don't delay. Go get that free money, that free stock today. Let's move on. Let's finish up with the stock market, and then we're going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all bearing with me today. Here's the headline. Stocks rise for a second day as earnings season ramps up. Dow up more than 100 points. U.S. stocks rose on Tuesday as the corporate earnings season picked up steam, and investors look to build on the strong gains from the previous session. The Dow climbed 120 points, or 0.3%. The S&P gained 0.4%, along with the NASDAQ composite. Spotify surged more than 15% after surpassing Wall Street's first quarter estimates and issuing rosy second quarter guidance. That's how it happens, guys. Now, just think about other companies that'll be having their earnings reports coming up, aka Nvidia. Think about them. What if they have something just like that? Now, I don't know what their earnings report will say, but I tell you what, if they get anything like what Spotify got, can you say through the roof? I can. Thank goodness I'm invested. Thank goodness I'm buying. Thank goodness I got it in my shopping cart and executed. I'm going to just wait and be patient. Let's keep moving. UPS shares edged slightly higher after delivery giant posted better than expected quarterly earnings. PepsiCo, meanwhile, dipped 2.4% despite reporting better than expected earnings. GE Aerospace also reported an earnings beat. Here's one of my favorite companies. Tesla is slated to report earnings after the bell, followed by Meta Platforms on Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to be really curious today what Tesla does. Y'all know I'm a big time Tesla investor. I love Tesla. Let's see what's going to happen today. Am I going to be able tomorrow morning, wake up and buy Tesla lower? Or will they have a bounce because they get good news? I don't know. Either way, I win. Either way, I win. If it bounces, I'm already positioned because I'm in the stock right now on the low. I'm in stock on the low right now. So if it bounces, I win. If it don't bounce and they don't come up with anything good for the market, they slide even further and I buy more. And I just keep waiting. At some point they bounce. At some point they correct themselves. At some point, right? That's my strategy. It ain't the best strategy, but it's my strategy, and I'm gonna stick with it. So I'm waiting on Tesla. They're gonna report this afternoon when the market closes. So by Wednesday morning, either I'm bouncing or I'm buying more. I'm buying the dip. Either I'm bouncing or I'm buying the dip. Either way, I win. Well, how can you win either way, Richard? Because Tesla's gonna, at some point, they're gonna get back to $250 a share at some point. They're gonna get back there at some point. I don't know when. Matter of fact, I think they'll be $400, $500, $600, $700 a share at some point in the 10-year future. I don't know. I'm gonna stay in them though. I'm gonna keep buying them. If they slide, I'm buying the dip tomorrow morning. If they slide, I'm buying the dip. If they bounce, I win because I'm already in the stock on the low. I'm already in the stock on the low. So if they bounce, great. I just made some net worth. That's just me. You do whatever you want to do, but do something. Have some kind of plan. Don't be around here with no plan. Have a plan, guys. Telling you my plan. That doesn't mean it need to be your plan, but I'm telling you my plan. Here we go. Meta on Wednesday afternoon. And then Alphabet and Microsoft round out the technology-heavy earnings week on Thursday. Just saying. Woo, you got some Magnificent Seven heavy hitters in this thing this week. I'm talking about heavy hitters. You got Tesla in that thing. You got Alphabet in that thing. You got Microsoft and Meta all this week. All reporting first quarter earnings, I believe. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna barbecue a mildew. What you gonna do? Like I said, what I would do is I get down to that description box. I'd click on that Mumu link, and I'd go and get me 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven, where you're gonna have Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, Tesla, all in your basket. All you got to do is execute. Just saying. I don't know. That's probably a pretty decent deal. Get your 10 fractional shares of all your great companies, these 7 great companies, just because you tried out a brokerage app and you put $100 in there that you can then use and buy more fractional shares of these companies if you want to, or buy something else. So it's up to you. My recommendation, do something though. Have some type of plan. Have some type of plan. Roughly 20% of the S&P has reported earnings through Tuesday morning. Of those companies, 76% have beaten analyst expectations. Guys, I keep telling y'all, the S&P 500, if you ain't invested in that, I'm not sure what are you doing. Did you hear what these folks just said? 76% of the companies that have reported earnings in the S&P 500 have beaten expectations. 76% of the companies. What does that mean? They're making money. And when they make money, if I'm in the S&P, I make money. Roughly 20% of the S&P 500 has reported earnings through Tuesday. Of those companies, 76% have beaten analyst expectations. Tuesday's moves come after an upbeat session on Wall Street. Investors bought the dip in tech stocks after a recent sell-off in key names such as Nvidia, which has been dinged recently amid fears of higher inflation and the prospect of elevated interest rates. Equities have staged among the best behaved sell-offs in 30 years. However, as AI winners Mag 7 took the brunt of the last leg lower, disappointing earnings may accelerate losses. A risk option seems to discount. There you go, man. There's your daily update of the market. What's going on today in the stock market. And when I read that, I just think about opportunity. I don't know what y'all think about. But me, I think about, whoa, goodness gracious, all this opportunity out there. All these things are happening and rates are still higher for longer. I know when rates come down, assets go up. What am I waiting on? Why am I not sowing my seed right now? Why I'm not sowing my seed? I should be sowing my seed, sprinkling those seeds out. I should be throwing them seeds out, throwing them out, pouring water on them. Every month, pouring water on them, throwing them seeds out every month and watering them and waiting for that harvest down the road, right? I'm planting all these seeds today, and that harvest is going to come down the road 10 years from now. I get the harvest, this big bountiful harvest in 10 years because I'm planting seeds today. I'm buying Nvidia today. I'm buying the Magnificent 7 today. I'm buying an S&P 500 ETF today. I'm buying a healthcare ETF today. I'm buying these great big boy blue chip companies today. I'm planting the seeds. I'm watering these seeds and keep planting and keep watering, keep planting. And in 10 years from now, I reap the big old bountiful harvest, which is called financial freedom. That's it, guys. So everything I said today, you can take it negative, you can take it as gloom and doom, or you can take it as an opportunity to prepare for the worst, but expect the best and get your net worth up, and get your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow up. Plant you some seeds. Plant you some seeds. What do you mean plant seeds? Go out and buy you some investments, right? Restrain yourself from spending your money on stupid stuff that don't put no money in your pocket. Restrain from that. Change your behaviors. Incorporate the 7 millionaire mindset behaviors. Incorporate those 7 millionaire mindset behaviors. 7 behaviors you need to, 7 behaviors and principles you need to adapt. Start planting some seeds. Open up that Mumu account. Go down to the description box, open up the Mumu account, plant some seeds today. Get your 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent 7. Plant you some seeds today. That's planting seeds, guys. And then get yourself on the wealth transfer blueprint where every single month you're planting seeds. You're buying assets. You're taking your hard-earned money that you work for. You're not spending it to make the 1% wealthy, but you're going to take that money and plant you some seeds. And then you're going to be patient. You're going to be consistent. You're going to be disciplined because you know 10 years from now, you're going to have a bountiful harvest. You're going to have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're 18 or 80. Plan. Plan now. Execute now. Get down to the description box, like I said, for you new folks and for you folks who want to get these 10 fractional shares. That ain't for everybody. Some of y'all, I already got a brokerage account. Plant your seeds in your brokerage account you already got. But I have no idea why someone wouldn't take 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent 7. Guess what? I don't care if I got a brokerage account. I'm going to have 2. I don't care if I got 3. I'm going to have 4. I'm going to get these 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent 7. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my little $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, and I'm going to keep buying fractional shares of the Magnificent 7. Just keep planting my seeds. Keep planting my seeds. Keep planting my seeds. Because I know 10 years from now, big old gigantic bountiful harvest. I don't want to wait 10 years. Don't. That's up to you, man. You wait 2 days if you want to. That's not my plan. I'm just giving you my plan. I'm giving you my opinion over my 30 years of doing this. I don't know how long you've been doing it. I don't know. I've been doing it for 30 years. How long you been doing it? Just saying. Just saying. Sometimes we gotta listen. Sometimes we got to listen, right? Especially if somebody is talking that has done what he's asking us to consider, right? Sometimes, I don't know, maybe. See, if a billionaire came to Richard Fain and said, "Hey, Rich, I see what you're doing, good stuff, but here's how you 10x it." What am I tell the billionaire? "Oh no, I don't want to listen to you. I'm gonna do it my way." Guy's a billionaire. Why would I turn that advice down? If the guy comes to me or the gal comes to me and says, "Hey, Richard, love what you're doing. I'm a billionaire. I got 100 mil. I ain't even got to be a billionaire. I got 100 mil. I got 25 mil. I got 50 mil. I think I can help you get there. But I need you to tweak these things." Why would I not listen to that? Why would I not consider that? See? And I'm not trying to say I'm some billionaire, because I'm not. But I do have 30 years of experience of doing this. I have built a level of wealth. I have. And all I'm telling you is, here's the things that you got to be thinking about. You got to put yourself you got to plant some seeds, guys. You got to plant the seeds and wait for the harvest. You got to be patient enough. Well, here's that. You got to be disciplined enough and consistent enough to plant the seeds every month. And then you got to be patient enough to wait for them to develop and grow into a bountiful harvest. That's why the 10 years is so important for most of us. That doesn't mean it's right for everybody. There are going to be some of you folks in here that can knock this thing out of the park and get it done in a year, 2 years, 3 years, because you're just that type of person. You make that kind of income and you're going to put everything in. But most of us ain't going to do that. Let's be honest. Most of us are not going to do that, because most of us don't make that kind of income. The average American family makes $75,000 a year. That's the average family, guys, in America. And if you're black Americans bring that down to about $48,000 a year. Just saying. So all I'm saying is get used to delaying gratification and not be afraid of doing something over a longer period of time. It's okay. I did it over 30 years. I think I'm doing okay today. I think I'm doing okay. I didn't do it in 1 year. I didn't do it in 5 years. I did it in realistically, I did it in about 20 years. And then I just kept doing it for the last 10 years. And I'm going to keep doing it for another 10 years. So all in all, I'm going to be 40 years into this thing when I'm done. Do you see me complaining and, "Oh, golly, I've done this for 40 years. I'm so sick and I don't want to do this for 2 years. I just want to get up and be rich." That's not how it works. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Most of us not going to do it in 1 or 2 years. We need at least 10 years. 10 years. Sow the seeds, water them, wait for the harvest. All right? That's it. Well, appreciate you guys. I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. Thank you so much for locking in today, tapping in today. Hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. Don't get out of here without hitting that thumbs up button for me. I really would appreciate it. Again, prepare for the worst, expect the best. Right? Prepare for the worst, expect the best. Hit that like button before you get out of here. Make sure you get down to the description box. Click on that Mumu link. Get your 10 fractional shares free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven. When you put $100 in your new brokerage account, they're going to give you 10 free fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven. So click on that Mumu link down in the description box. Take advantage of that wonderful offer. Nobody else in the brokerage game is going to give you 10 fractional shares of the Magnificent Seven. Nobody. So go get them. Also, make sure you check out my new website, Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor. Sign up for the membership club, the paid membership club. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't trying to hide nothing from you. It's a paid membership club for a reason. It's going to be so much value in there for those members, right? The small amount of money they pay to join the membership club is going to dwarf in front of what value they're going to get. That's a promise that I'm making sure my membership club folks, that's a promise. They're going to get value, right? So check out the membership club, join if you want to, check out the digital products, grab a few of them. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in building your wealth. It's an investment in sowing that seed every single month, sowing that seed. It's an investment in that big old gigantic bountiful harvest that you're going to get in about 10 years. It's an investment in you guys, right? It's an investment in you. So check out that. Also, give me a follow on Instagram. That link is down there as well in the description box. It's Richard Fain, Millionaire Mentor. Let's get this Instagram page up and popping, guys. Let's get it up and popping. And then if you decide to follow me, send me a DM, say hello, and let me know you're rocking with me. Thank you so much, guys. Lock it in with a thumbs up before you get out here. I appreciate you more than you know. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. And y'all know I'll see y'all back here tomorrow, Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, with more financial news to cover and more financial tips, nuggets, breadcrumbs to get you to your financial freedom and your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind. You can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy. Stay wealthy. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.